What's up, everybody? It's the homie Truth Teller, the street reporter, and a lot of people are always asking me about people in the drill culture. You know, I'm always asked about a lot of rappers all the time, but you know who I'm always asked about too? I'm always asked about certain people who are involved in the drill culture who don't got rap songs. You know, I speak on a lot of people like that. I done spoke on the infamous K.I. I done spoke on the infamous 051 Melly. Hell, we even see people like Lil Tim who starting to buzz for the wrong reason. In my opinion, he becoming famous for killing somebody. Even though he is dropping music now, I think he understands that he needs to monetize off his likeness. This guy gonna need bodyguards and security for a long time, you ask me. But a lot of people are always asking me by a guy by the name of DRose600. You know, he's actually locked up for a murder that a lot of people say he didn't commit. We're not going to really get into that. But he's actually locked up for the murder of a guy who a lot of people are always asking me about. His name is Venzel Richardson. I'm always asked about him. You know, he actually lost his life due to gun violence. And his case was kind of linked to the drill culture because the person who's accused of doing that is a guy by the name of DRose600. We all know him, an affiliate of Lil Durk, affiliate of Chief Keef, Old Block 600. We know that dude. You know what I'm saying? Real cool with King Von and shit like that. So today we're going to take Vinzel to the board. I'm going to give you some background. I'm going to tell you what happened. Then I'm going to give you my conclusion. My conclusion ain't really nothing new. Remember, this case has been solved according to the police, even though DRose is claiming his innocence and shit like that. I'm not here to accuse him, but I do have a little bit of extra news I want to add to it. It ain't new, but I kind of want to give you my opinion. But one of the first things I noticed when I looked into Vinzel is I didn't really see a lot of his music or anything like that, so I wasn't sure if he was a rapper or anything like that. I just thought he was a regular dude in the hood, but I noticed that he was from that area that's known as like Taekwon Rural Jaro City, okay? I noticed that instantly. So that was one of the things that kind of had me like, oh, okay, he's from that neighborhood with like Ducknam from K.I., Lil J, you know, Butter, the neighborhood and shit like that. So I instantly noticed that he was from like a BD op neighborhood and shit. So the neighborhood that he's from, ops are like the BDs. I instantly noticed that. And we can tell through the music and shit like that. You know, then I noticed that Venzel was cool with a lot of the BD ops and shit. He was cool with a lot of the ops who the BDs considered the ops and shit like that. That's about all I noticed. I dug in a little deeper and I seen like a little video on YouTube about like curb the violence, put the guns down. Venzel was a part of that campaign that was on YouTube. So I did see a video on YouTube. Okay. Another thing that threw me off was this guy was only 14 years old when he lost his life. You know, that threw me off because being 14, I mean, you just really a shorty now. But I'm going to tell you something. 14 in Chicago is different. You know, when you 14, them shorties be playing around with this here. On some real shit. They be playing around with it, man, and it's crazy, and it's not a joke and shit. It's, to be honest with you, you know, it's a different kind of air out here. But I didn't have that much information on him. But, you know, the fact that he was from this neighborhood, which is infamous on the internet for being like a GD neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stood out. So we're going to get back to that. That was something that really kind of stood out to me. But according to the police, all right? According to the police, in 2014, I believe. As a matter of fact, it was in February of 2014. I got a lot of information in my head. A lot of shit be going on, man. But according to the police, in February of 2014, Venzel was leaving out of a convenience store. Okay? He was leaving out of a store with a group of friends. All right? This is what the police is saying. He was leaving out of a convenience store with a group of friends. I believe he was walking down 61st and South Vernon. This is what the police is alleging, that he just left out the store getting some chips, juice, and shit like that. You know, what the young people doing shit. He's leaving out. He has a group of his friends with him. They're leaving out the store when a van, not a car, a van pulls up on the side of them, slides open the side of the door, and get the blinking. Black, 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 black. Look, they get the blinking all on 61st and Vernon. This guy get hit all up, okay? He runs, according to the police, okay? He runs to a gangway, a near gangway. This is what the police is alleging. He runs to a near gangway, okay, where he collapsed and dies. Venzel was killed. All right. Now this story is starting to get a little crazy. All right. According to the police, Venzel was hit, I believe, 4 times. I could be wrong, but he was hit multiple times, but I do believe it was 4 times. You know, his death was kind of sad because when you watch the interviews, his mom's actually spoke. I mean, his family and shit like that actually spoke. It was kind of sad. You know, some of them said they didn't really know about him passing until it was on like Facebook and shit like that. But when I looked into this, I instantly could tell that this was kind of sketchy to me because, you know, being from this neighborhood, Taekwon World, Jaro City, and then, you know, him losing his life right here on 61st and Vernon made me believe, you know, that this could be like some gang activity. All right. So when I looked into that, this was crazy. But it's things about this case that kind of threw me off. Remember, people pointed out DRose600, which is a rapper. People pointed him out as the gunman, the shooter who killed him. He was pointed out in a lineup. He was actually convicted. I believe he got 40 years. 40 years for this case, okay? I'm going to tell you something, man. DRose was young, too. But Vinzel was 14 years old. So that kind of throws me off to think that, you know, people were really riding around hunting down a 14-year-old. You know, it's things about that that kind of, I didn't really understand that. You know, it's things about this whole little board that threw me off. But one of the things I couldn't hide, not be honest with you, was the fact that he was from this neighborhood. Okay, and he lost his life right here, which lead me to believe, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that because things happen, you know. This was actually in that Woodlawn community. We all know that that's very dangerous. It's very poor out there in those communities. Not a lot of money out there in those communities. So the guys who had the bag and they be having the cash, they be looked at as the men. They be looked at as like giants and kings and princes and shit. I know that sounds sad, but that's how it is in those poor communities and shit like that. In my opinion, I believe Vinzel was like affiliated with gangs. I'm not saying that he was in a gang or he was a gangbanger, but I think he was from a community where most of his friends could have been in gangs or been mistaken as gangs, which means if you hang with them, they're going to affiliate you with it. So I just think he had a lot of friends that was probably affiliated in gangs coming from that neighborhood. And sometimes you can't help it because that's the neighborhood you're from. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I think that he was affiliated, okay, because he was only 14 years old. I think he was affiliated with gangs and shit like that, in my opinion. I think it was a war going on in that community. We all know about Woodlawn. It's gang wars going on out there. I think it was a gang war going on out there. And this guy was just walking down the block in a crowd, which was bad. You know, when it's a gang war and there's things going on like that, one of the worst things you can ever do is be walking in a crowd. I think that's a mistake, but he was young. You know, I think he was walking in a crowd when the rivals came through, the opposition came through. And remember, they gonna shoot anybody. Nobody is rolling down the windows and asking anybody, excuse me, sir, is you in this game because we finna do a drive-by and kill somebody and we want to know so you don't be an innocent victim. No, motherfuckers gonna ride past, roll that window down, and let Michael Jackson. That's what they gonna get to doing. And I'm just being honest. I think he was walking in the crowd. It was a gang war coming on, and the rivals was riding past, and of course they seen the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And I think they made a decision to open up the door and shoot in the crowd. And I think he got shot and killed. You know, these people don't give a fuck about who they shooting at. They shooting at anybody. And I think that's what happened that day that Venzel lost his life. I'm not sure if he was the target. I don't think he was the target. Now, I could be wrong now. You know, these niggas in Chicago be grimy at an early age, but in my opinion, I don't think Venzel was the target. I spoke with a lot of people, you know, who's close to the situation. I think Venzel was just from a neighborhood, you know, his friends is who his friends was, and he is who he was. And I think that he was in the crowd. People shot in the crowd because they was on that neighborhood of that block, which was the opposition neighborhood. And, you know, the ops tried to score. I think that's what happened. And I think Venzel lost his life. in my opinion. It's sad out here. We got to be careful, man, because, you know, it's a lot of aggression out here, man. And I think this is a case of, you know, being in a crowd, in my opinion, you know. I think Venzel probably could still be here if he wasn't, like, maybe from that neighborhood. And I don't think that's nothing he can stop, you know. Sometimes people don't get that when these gang wars going on, because I done seen it. You take a guy who's been, you know, living out of town for 2 years. He done finally took a plane ride to come out here and visit his mom's. Then he finally get a cab, and then he get the cab from out the airplane. Then the cab take you to his mom's house, and he ring the bell. He got flowers, give his mom's a hug, and then he goes on the porch and smoke a cigarette, and the ops ride past and smoke his ass on the block. Just because he was on that porch and he looked at like one of those young niggas that be out there. So he got killed because he didn't know it was a gang war. So, you know, it be sad out here, man. At least these street niggas, when y'all out here doing wrong and killing people and living the wrong way, at least you can do is ring people bell and tell them, hey, yo, we just did some shicey shit yesterday, man. These niggas might come back, so y'all need to stay in the house and be careful. But niggas don't be out here like that, so. It's crazy. Keep the donations to yourself. We don't need them. It's hard out here. You don't got no time to be taking out money from your family, giving it to me. I'd be okay. You know what I'm saying? Go get them kids that chips with the cheese and the meat. You know they love the chips with the cheese and the meat, right? You know they love the slushies and everything like that, right? Matter of fact, hold up. Baby Teller want to tell y'all. Come on, Baby Teller. You feel me? Don't you like the chips with the cheese and the meat, Baby Teller?
Yeah.
You feel me? You like the chips with the cheese and the meat. So I want you to do me a favor. You know, keep them donations to yourself. You want to help me, you hit that like button. Boom. Guess what happens when you hit that like button? Show me how you hit that like button, Baby Teller.
Bing.
Bing. That's how you hit it. When you hit that like button, what it do, Baby Teller? It make those videos grow. And a lot of people be able to see them. I appreciate the love. It's the homie True Teller, the street reporter.